Hello, hello, friends. Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you for our Vinyasa Yoga and Mantra class. I see Paul and Laurel, welcome. It's nice to be with you all. And I see that we have a couple more joiners. If you guys can say hi in the chat, or you can just let me know if you have any requests for today. I'm so happy that it is Thursday, and I'm grateful for the internet so that we can connect. We can be together in discussion in satsang, which means in the company of truth, to discuss, everything that we're feeling and all that we're going through to a particular point, and to move our bodies and to use our voices and sing together. So I'm happy that you've chosen to join me. And I guess we can just go ahead and get started. So we have some requests for stretching the toes, cobbler pose, and feet. Paul is on his feet a lot at the hospital. And lotus pose, we'll get into lotus pose maybe at the very end of the practice. Lotus or Padmasana is something that needs to be heeded as a very, very, very challenging and potentially dangerous posture for the knees. The key element of Padmasana or lotus pose is that we have to get the entire hip joint and all of the muscles around the hip joint open enough so that the posture doesn't come from cranking the ankles and the knees. It comes from mobility and openness and actually readiness of the hip to move into those positions. So let's heed this with some caution. This is a practice that is yours because I can't see you. Please take responsibility for your safety and for your experience. And let's have fun and let's be safe and let's just enjoy together, okay? I would like to discuss some of the things that we've been going through just collectively. And I'll draw upon my personal experience to kind of pepper in. First, I just want to acknowledge that this practice and this breath practice specifically, I want to dedicate to George Floyd. I want to dedicate our breath practice to George Floyd and to Eric just a few years ago, and to all of the beings who feel like they are oppressed and that they can't speak up and that their voice doesn't matter and they don't feel seen. And the things that are happening in our country, in the United States, it's just devastating to me and it's hurtful to me. And the worst part is that people are shocked that this is happening. This is not new. This is something that has been happening since the very beginning of our culture and our country. The Native Americans having their land taken from them, was the first sign of oppression in our country. And it just has gotten, it's continued to be the same ever since. And we think that it's so new and it's so progressive and it's so different. But then, George Floyd reminds us that, humans will be humans and we are scared of what we don't know. And sometimes when we feel powerful, that power can be wielded in really unfortunate and dangerous ways. So I'd love for us to dedicate this practice to George Floyd and to everyone who has ever been mistreated or abused or hurt or silenced or oppressed or judged or, killed. So let's just take a few deep breaths now, breathing freely, maybe putting your hand over your heart, just honoring everyone who needs support and needs love. May we use this practice to the benefit of all beings, and may we use the clarity that comes from these practices of self-care and self-awareness to take action in a way that will benefit the growth and the unity for all. We are love, Aham Brahma. We are love, Aham Brahma. Okay, so getting into our yogic philosophy discussion. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat. I want to share with you some info from the Yoga of Spiritual Devotion. The Bhakti Yoga Sutras with commentary by Prem Prakash. This is a modern translation of the Narada Bhakti Sutras. And bhakti is a word that means to join in devotion. So Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of spiritual devotion, is really the yoga on and off the mat, all 8 limbs of the practice of self-awareness and the lifetime practice of self-love. And I think that it is really much easier for us to look to external sources to find that love or to give that love. And that's something that I've been working with a lot lately in my own personal practice, is noticing how, as the world itself is sort of dismantling and changing, and I myself am wondering, like, who even am I anymore? Like, I don't know. My life as I know it has completely changed, as has, all of our lives. And so within that, we tend to want to grasp to either figuring out what's next and creating that, or we tend to grasp on to relationships. And as everyone is going through these questions, it can be really challenging to continue to connect with one another, with all of the emotions that we're feeling and all of the triggers that we experience. And it can be tempting to look to outside sources to find that love and to find that validation. And it can be really tempting when it's just all so much and so heavy, especially this week with George Floyd. I've noticed that one of the things that I want to do that I think is going to help me, that won't help me, is to just binge watch these like mindless, inane Netflix shows. And that is just me trying to numb out. That is me being overwhelmed by all of the feelings and all of the emotions. And instead of sitting with it and really feeling that collective pain and really feeling that, anxiety and depression and the confusion that's in this, uncertain place, rather than sitting with that, we push it down or we numb it out. And that will get stuck in our bodies, and it will, that translates to personal sickness, that translates to miscommunications within our relationships, that translates to all of our old coping mechanisms coming up, old patterns of people pleasing or, projection or blame, basically anything that we need to do to avoid feeling pain and discomfort, we're going to try to do. And it's just a natural human trait. The attachment to pleasure is one of the kleshas that we talked about last week, or raga. And the aversion to pain is a natural human trait. So ultimately, our yoga practice teaches us that we have these tools to acknowledge and to really feel our pain that we're going through. And when we acknowledge it, we can absorb it, and we can release all of the energy and the emotions surrounding that, so that then we can transmute it back into not necessarily even like joy or ecstasy, but just simple contentment, santosha, or ease. And so the Bhakti Yoga Sutras are a way for us to, when we really do need guidance and we do need to feel loved, and we do need to have some kind of, support that everything is going to be okay, even though none of us know what's going to happen. Bhakti Yoga asks us to call upon our faith. And so one of the cool things about yoga is that we can use the practices of yoga to enhance our own personal connection to whatever our faith is, or to whatever our spiritual practices are. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is so important to me, is because it helped me to have a language for being a lifetime lover and seeking love from other people and giving love from myself to other beings, and to trying to have relationships, and to really wanting to be with people in that space of connection and, shared experience. However, when we seek external validation, we're still numbing out. We're still saying to ourselves, either I acknowledge this and I don't want to do the work, or worse, I'm not going to feel that. I'm not going to go through that. So then it just becomes this constant cycle. So I'd like to read from the Bhakti Yoga Sutras, and I'll read about just that, about finding the solitude within ourselves so that we can understand that the yoga practices help us to call upon that strength from within and that endless source of love that we are. Truly, we are love, divine love, Parama Prema. So I'm reading verse number 47 of the Narada Bhakti Yoga Sutras. And this, again, if you're just coming on, is a translation by Prem Prakash. And I'll post that in the video notes as well. One who resorts to solitude, who eradicates the bondage of the world, who becomes free of the three modes of nature, and who relinquishes the feeling that happiness is dependent on acquisitions, and I'll put in brackets here, attains liberation and is free. The three modes of nature that they're referring to is the three characteristics or qualities of nature called the gunas, or that which binds. So there's rajasic energy, there's passion and kinetic energy and movement, and there's tamasic energy, which is thickness and heaviness and structure and stagnancy, and then sattva, which is harmony or light or balance. And the energies play together until the point where they become more gross and more manifest, and they turn into the elements, which then make up every living thing and all of our entire planet. So we're all subject to the fluctuations of those energies, which means that everything within us, the physical us, the manifest us, the body, the mind, and our energy is always going to change because that's our nature. It's when we become attached to who we think we are or how we're supposed to be or getting love in the way that we need it from any external source or any kind of attachment whatsoever to that which always changes will create suffering. Okay. So Prem Prakash says 4 characteristics of the one who overcomes illusion, meaning attachment to everything that changes, are here presented. The first is that one must be capable of resorting to solitude. It must again be emphasized that this solitude is of an inner nature. It does not necessarily relate to external conditions. This is important here because I don't know about you guys, but I have wanted to run away. I'm like, I need to go to the mountains. I need to be in the woods. And I need to not be around other people. Well, there's nowhere to go, right? Like we can't run away anymore. And even if we go somewhere else, we can't run away from ourselves, as Bob Marley says. The aspirant must be able to maintain a solid inner consciousness, regardless of circumstances, regardless of time and space. That's work. That's the practice, right? It says he here, but I'm going to change it to she because I am of the goddess tradition and we all come from the she anyway. So I'll say she. She must be able to keep love alive within her heart amidst, as Yogananda has said, the crash and thunder of dissolving worlds. Yeah, how about now? Too many yogis have spent years in external solitude only to realize how fragile was their accomplishment as soon as they again entered the marketplace. Yeah. A parable may illustrate the nature of one in true solitude. There once was a criminal who was sentenced to death by his king. The king gave the man one chance to save his life. He must carry a chalice filled with water around the entire circumference of the kingdom without spilling a drop. It took the man several days to accomplish this task. He was always alert, not for a moment breaking his concentration. After the successful fulfillment of this requirement, his sentence was commuted. When asked later what he saw during his journey, he replied that he saw only one thing, the chalice of water. Oh, I love that. Our consciousness is our pearl of great price. To spill our awareness on objects and activities that soil our beauty does not demonstrate wisdom. So I see this parable as the man being challenged to carry this chalice of water around the kingdom. He walked around the whole kingdom, but he was so attached to fulfilling his task in the way that he thought he was supposed to, that he didn't see anything else on his journey. He was only focusing on the chalice of water. And so that was his whole experience. And it didn't matter that he went anywhere else. You know, he was focused on that water. He missed out on everything that was happening around him because he was just focused on that one thing within. So we can go within and we can block everything else out. And that helps to heal us enough so that then we can go out into the world and engage in our relationships, so that we seek love and validation only from that endless well and source of that which is within us, and not through seeking what we need by another person giving it to us. Because if we are love, then love is not something that can be taken away from us, or that we can be given. Okay. We do well to keep our awareness safe in the solitude of our hearts, protecting it from the ravages of egoic thoughts, bringing it into the open only when its luster can be shared with other lovers of God. So that is to say, our company makes a difference as well. So what this teaches me is that attachment to one strategy brings suffering, and attachment to being in control or thinking that we are responsible for creating every little thing, or that we can ever truly figure out that which is beyond the mind, is missing the point of our yoga practice. So we can go within and we can get what we need from within us, because if we can notice all of the human experiences that we have, the feelings of fear or disconnection or confusion or anger or sadness or depression or anxiety, and understand that those are temporary states of being, but they're also important information for us to absorb so that we can transmute that back to ease through our practices, is really important. So being able to go within, even in the midst of our lives and even in the midst of this chaos that's going on around us, is so important. So let's seek to do the work ourselves from within, so that we're not asking others to give us what they could never even give us in the first place. Okay. So let's practice, shall we? Okay, if you want to grab some water, you can go ahead and move to the mat if you haven't yet. And we can start on our backs or in a seat. It's up to you. Okay. So coming onto your mat, I'm going to start on my back. And we'll just start with some deep breaths. So feel free to grab props if you want to. We might use a blanket. We might use some blocks. If you don't have any of that stuff, no problem. So coming down onto your back, or finding your way into your seat, let's take a moment to shift into being comfortable within stillness for a couple of minutes as we breathe. Finding a comfortable position for your legs. If you're in a seat, you could go ahead and take a cross-legged position, Sukhasana, or you could come into the half lotus, or the Padmasana. And if you're on your back, feel free to have your knees bent with your heels turned out and your knees resting together. Or you can stretch your legs all the way out. Let's take a big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And let's continue to do that a few times. Letting go of everything you don't need. If you like allowing one hand to rest on the belly and the other hand to rest on the heart, let your next inhale move down into the lower chamber of the lungs and let your belly expand. Send the breath up the body as you expand the rib cage and the chest and pause. And exhale, release from the chest, down through the ribs, and down through the belly as you release the lungs in Dirga Pranayama, the long 3-part breath. Inhale up the body, and expansion. Exhale into contraction and release from the top down. The inhale creates fullness, and the exhale creates emptiness. Iyengar would say that when we hold the inhale in, we meditate on fullness. Those times where we're maintaining our creation. And as we exhale, if we hold it, we meditate on emptiness, which is the end of something, but it's also the space of infinite potential where we wonder what's going to come next. Continue your inhale and your exhale like a wave, up and back down. Continue with your 3-part breath for 3 more rounds. And at the end of your next exhale, take a pause. And then begin to breathe fully and with ease. In a moment, we'll do 3 rounds of Om, followed by 3 rounds of Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we'll send out that vibration of peace and love and union to the entire planet. And first we receive it for ourselves. We receive love and peace from within, from that place of inner solitude in the midst of everything that is always changing within us and around us. The second Om is for our group, our class. Those of you that are here with us either right now live or watching the replay. And the third for the entire universe. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti, peace to all beings, everywhere, all the time, no matter what. Namaste. Namaste meaning I bow to you and I see the light and the dark within you, and I see the challenges and the ecstasy, and I realize that we are all of that and we are mirrors of one another. So thank you. Namaste. All right. On our backs, let's start to get into our quadriceps. And if you need anything, you can always just type it in the chat, and I might be able to see that you have chatted me. It's pretty far away, but I'll do my best. So take your feet wide on your mat. Let your arms rest wherever you want them to go. And start to windshield wiper, focusing on the internal rotation. So as you drop one knee into the center, you can let that same hip pop up a little bit. And if you notice that this is too much, feel free to bring your feet a little closer together or move around until it feels safe. Throughout the practice, let's work with Ujjayi pranayama, which is the victorious breath, the ocean sounding breath, the ha breath. With your mouth closed, with your tongue lightly resting against the roof of the mouth, we'll start to cultivate internal focus and heat. And at any time, if you want to exhale through your mouth, or if you have to yawn, enjoy it. Then, next time your legs go to your left, let them stay, no rush. Feel free to take your left foot on top of your right knee and to reach either your right arm or both arms behind you. Starting to get into the quadriceps and the hip flexors. And also opening up the hips. So Laurel wants to do quad work and Paul wants to do full lotus pose. So that's, again, going to take a lot of effort. So please, 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 if you experience pain instead of discomfort, you can still breathe and it might not feel like great, but you know that you're safe because you're still breathing. Pain is a sudden or a sharp sensation, or you notice that you're holding your breath or gripping. Then drop the left foot carefully, move the knees to the right, and if you want to, you can take your right foot on top of your left knee and take a few deep breaths there, just allowing your hips to open. Let's take a few deep breaths there. Release the foot back down, come on back to center. And when you feel ready, let's hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a sweet little squeeze, rock a little side to side or in a circle. Just keep coming back to the breath, keep coming back to the heart of the practice. And then when you're ready, take your feet to the mat, scoot your hips to the right a little bit, and bring your knees all the way over to the left. Feel free to stretch out through your arms while you're here. Feel free to turn your head to your right. I don't know about you guys, but I've been sleeping kind of erratically. So if you are a yawn machine too, please just enjoy. And then roll onto your left side and feel free to use your arm for your pillow. Reach back and catch your right foot with your right hand and give yourself a quad stretch there. Take 3 more deep breaths. Release the knees down. Come back to center, scoot your hips to the left and drop the knees to the right in your spinal twist and reach out through your left arm. Take deep breaths. And when you're ready, roll onto your right side. Feel free to use your right arm as a pillow. And then reach back and catch your left foot with your left hand, taking a quad stretch. Okay, guys, release it. Let's go ahead and come up to table. And if you want to put your blanket under your knees, you're welcome to do that. And we'll start to stretch the feet by tucking the toes under and then pressing into the hands to sit the hips back toward the heels. So stretch your feet gently. Take 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. 1 more breath. Now lift up a little bit and then point your toes, press the tops of the feet down, and then sit as much weight back into your feet as you can handle. When I say handle, I mean still breathing freely and with ease, okay? So start to notice the difference between something that might be a little challenging for you, but growth-inducing versus something that might be potentially dangerous and unhelpful for you. Now, if you're sitting on your heels and you want to walk your hands back to put more weight on your feet, you're welcome to do that. And then there's the option of lifting one knee and then the other. And then come back to table. Let's walk the hands forward and send the right foot back and press the foot to the floor and press into your hands to stretch your foot and your heel and your calf. And you could rock forward and back a little. And then lift that leg up and we'll start to make some circles in and out and around. Both directions. Make sure you're spreading the hands wide so that the work is in the palm and the fingers, not the wrist creases. Stretch it back. Option, stay right there. Stabilize your belly. Option to bring the left fingertips forward, or maybe you stretch the left arm out. Take an inhale. As you exhale, either just pull the right knee in or pull the right knee and the elbow in. And then stretch it out. Inhale. Exhale, pull in. 3, 2, and 1. Option to put your hand down. Option to bend the knee and reach back and catch the foot with your left hand and then drive the foot into the hand to get a quad stretch. Make sure you're really working your left foot down to protect your left knee. And then let's release it. Inhale, bring it down, exhale. Tuck your toes under, walk yourself back as much as you want to. Carefully reach back and send the last 2 toes in. I have to kind of curl them in just a little bit. And then if you can, lift your knees off the floor, balancing on the balls of the feet with hands on blocks around the floor. And if that feels comfortable and you want to play around, you could press into your hands and you could lean forward, stretching the feet more, maybe rocking forward and back a little bit, but go easy on it. And then sit back down on flat feet, point your toes, and either stay there, or you can lift one knee and then the other, stretching out the top of that foot, but be gentle. Again, you're still able to breathe. Come back to table. Engage the core, pull up on the rib cage, strong arms, stretch your left foot back, push the ball of the foot to the floor, and feel free to rock forward and back, stretching the calf and the heel. Feel free to push into the hands so much that you actually lift your right knee just a little bit. Then, engaging the core, lift your left leg up. Option to bring the right fingertips to a tent forward on the floor, or stretch the arm up and inhale. Exhale, if you want, bring it into the center. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, pull in. And inhale out. For 3, 2, Last one. Stretch out. Inhale. Swing it back around and catch the quad stretch as you exhale. If you want, hold the top of the foot or flip your hand to hold the pinky toe edge of the foot and drive the foot back and open the shoulder. Deep breaths. Then release it. Inhale out and exhale, bring it down, and let's circle the hip. In, out, and around. Go the other way. Okay, we'll come into downward facing dog now. So planting the hands strong, let the index fingers be parallel to one another. Hands are on the same plane, tuck your toes, send your hips back, lift your knees off the mat, and then bring your chest and belly towards your thighs and drop your neck. If you like, stay there. If you can walk your feet back, feel free. The knees can be bent. So if you notice that when you try to straighten your legs, your torso rounds forward, try that process again by bending the knees. Send the chest to the thighs and keep the hips up, engaging the core, and then only straighten the legs as much as you can maintain extension in the shoulders. And if you like, you can start to stretch it out, pedal through your feet, bending one knee and then the other. Some free movement here. Offer gratitude for your ability to breathe freely, to move in the way that suits you, and for our practice of self-awareness, so that all of the natural and normal human things that we want and need can be tended to, so that we can actually live from a place of cleanliness and purity in a way that supports ourselves and others, practicing saucha. Let's take another full breath. Soften the knees, look forward. Inhale as you look up, and exhale, step and jump your feet to the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your shins or to your thighs, look up, inhale. And exhale, fold forward and down. Once again, half lift, inhale, hands to the shins or fingertips on the floor. Exhale, fold forward and down. Last time, a little lower, half lift, inhale, and exhale and fold. Feel free to sway, feel free to hold your elbows, maybe even the back of the neck. We'll take some deep breaths here as you send the hips up toward the sky, and some of the weight is in the toes. Relax your jaw. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Relax the arms, draw the navel to the spine and rise to stand, and inhale your arms all the way up, reach the ceiling. Exhale your hands to your heart in gratitude. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, rise up, lift the chest, press the hips forward, heart up. Exhale, fold forward and down, engage the quadriceps to protect the back of the legs as you lower. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, keep the right foot forward, step the left foot back, and make sure that when you bend and drop the hips, the right knee is over the ankle. Inhale there. Exhale, lift, and round the hips up or straighten the front leg. Inhale, find your lunge, hands on blocks or on the floor, and exhale, you can cat back and lift onto the tippy toes of your back foot, or you might try to straighten that front leg. So, Vinyasa here, Kriya with your breath. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Bend into your front knee, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Press your shoulders right above your wrists for holding plank for 3. Press your arms straight, draw up the navel, scoop the tail, pull the ribs up, 2. Broaden the shoulder blades, the neck is long, 3. Press forward on the knees or on the toes, lower to your belly. Press down to the tops of the feet, walk the legs back a little bit, and then walk the arms forward. Forehead to the floor, pause for a moment. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, press the feet down, scoop the tail under, Roll the heart forward. Inhale for cobra. And exhale to soften. Cobra again. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale and soften. Make sure that your low back is long. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, release. Tuck the toes. Press the hips back toward the heels and lift to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg up. Lift up high onto the right tiptoes and step forward as you exhale. Inhale, drop into your lunge. Exhale, either cat back, lift onto the tippy toes of your back foot, or straighten the front leg or both. Inhale and exhale with your breath. Experiment with how it feels to breathe and move. And it was just 11, 11, 11. So if you'd like to put something out there that you want to manifest, please do. Inhale to lunge, plant the hands, step back, plank pose, exhaling. Hold here for 3 breaths. 2. And 1, press forward. This time lower to your belly or hover halfway. Cobra or press up to the tops of the feet for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Let's take a full breath. And then exhale, lift, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Inhale, raise your right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee and open up the hip. Pause for an inhale. As you exhale, come forward and touch the right shoulder with the right knee. Inhale up and back. Exhale, right knee to your left shoulder. Inhale up and back. Exhale, right knee, right tricep or elbow, whatever you can get. Inhale up and back. Exhale under the body. Last one, inhale up. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale back. Exhale under. Inhale back. Lift up high onto your left tippy toes. Exhale, step forward, this time to high lunge. Let's keep the back heel lifted to stretch the feet and rise. Inhale. Exhale, circle the arms down and back. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, down and back. Out and up, inhale. Exhale, down and back, and then bring the hands to the mat. This time, step back, knees, toes, or one-legged plank. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, bend the knee and open up the hip. Inhale there. Exhale, left knee, left shoulder or elbow, anywhere in between. Inhale up and back. Exhale, left knee, right arm. Inhale back. Exhale to the left. Inhale back. Exhale to the right. Inhale back, exhale, step forward, high lunge. Lift up off your right heel. Step it forward, keep your back heel lifted for crescent variation. Rise on your inhale. Exhale, arms open, down and back. Inhale, out and up. Maybe gaze up. Exhale, gaze forward, arms back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Last time, inhale. Exhale, hands come down. Bring your shoulders above your wrists. Step back, knees, toes, or even one-legged plank. Exhale through chaturanga. Inhale through your back bend, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, child's pose or down dog. Remember that you can grab your water anytime you want. Got 2 more full breaths. One more breath. Okay, I'll meet you in down dog. From downward facing dog, let's bend the knees and look forward. And exhale, step or jump to the top of your space. Half lift, inhale, put weight in the toes. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Reach your arms by your sides for Tadasana, mountain pose. Raise up, inhale. Exhale, fold, dive forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step to plank, or if you want to jump to chaturanga, you jump to bent elbows. So step back and lower down. Inhale through your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, stretch it up, lift up off the left heel. Exhale, step forward. This time, warrior one. Ground the back heel at an angle, heels aligned, right hip point back, rise up, inhale. Exhale, sweep the hands behind you and either hold the forearms, right forearm on top, or clasp the fingers with the right thumb on top, stretch it back. Keep pulling the ribs back, lift up through the chest. If you want humble warrior, go ahead and dive forward to the thigh or inside that front thigh. Look to your foot or drop the gaze back to your navel. One more breath. Inhale, rise up. As you exhale, bring your hands to your waist and lift off of your back heel. Lean forward for warrior three. Balance on your right leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, stand up. Hug the left knee into your chest. Arms out like airplane. Circle the left leg back into warrior three. Inhale. Exhale, come forward to lift. Exhale, around and back. Inhale up. Exhale, big circle around and back. Now inhale, stand up. Bring your left knee into your chest and give it a hug. As you exhale, sit back in your hips and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Now, your gaze point is forward, your drishti. You're sitting back. Your hands can come onto your legs, or if you can sit down enough, feel free to walk your hands to blocks or to the floor as we get into this deep hip opener here. Two more breaths. One more. Bend your right knee, engage your core, walk your hands up to your legs. Arms up, inhale. Exhale, feet down, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms up, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale, press forward. Exhale, knees or toes lower. Inhale through your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step forward, warrior two. Ground your back heel in line with the front heel and cartwheel up. And sneeze. Excuse me. Bend and then stand. Inhale up. Exhale, track your front knee over the second and third toe. Inhale up. As you bend that front knee, engage your right leg. Inhale, stand. And exhale, sit. Lean forward. Inhale. Exhale. Left forearm on the front thigh. Right arm up and over. And start to make some big circular movements in all directions. For Utthita Parsvakonasana, bend into your front knee more. Wrap your right arm around behind your back. Feel free to turn your head upward. Two more breaths. Equal work in both legs. Drop a little bit lower. Release your right arm to carry you into reverse warrior. Inhale. Straighten up, stand up. And exhale, fly the arms. Look out over your left foot. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, Trikonasana, left hand down, right arm straight up. Feel free to roll your right wrist while you're here. Let's gaze up if you'd like, or straight forward for 3 breaths. Bend the front knee to rise up, warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale and cartwheel the hands down. Unplug your back heel. Step back, knees, toes, or one-legged plank. Press forward, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg high. Bend your knee as you exhale. Inhale, stretch it out. And exhale, step it down. Inhale, raise your left leg up. Exhale, step forward, Virabhadrasana 1. Warrior 1, ground the back heel in line with the front heel. Wrap the left hip point back and rise. Inhale. Exhale, reach back and clasp your left forearm on top. Or you can clasp the fingers and stretch the arms out. Lift the chest and inhale. Exhale, come forward to the thigh. Or if you want, drop it inside. Gaze at the foot or challenge your balance even more by looking back at your navel. Arms go up and over. Hug the heels closer together to rise up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to your waist. Unplug the back heel and start to lean forward. Step up to warrior 3. Inhale. Exhale, stand up and bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze. Now, arms out like airplane wings. Inhale. Send your leg around, and as you exhale, warrior 3. Inhale, right knee up. Exhale it around and back. Focus on all the directions that the hip joint can move in. And now stand up. Inhale, squeeze the right knee into the chest. Exhale, bend the knee, sit back in your hips and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. You might sit back into your figure 4 chair, or hands can come to the legs, or hands can come to the blocks or to the floor if you can get down that far. Your breath is the reminder that you are present. It is the reminder that you are paying attention to what you're doing so that you're safe. And it's also your ability to move life force energy in and around you through the movements of prana, pranavaya. It's also the link between the spirit world and the physical body. When you're ready, sit back, walk your hands to your legs. Stand up, inhale. Feet down, exhale, hands down. Inhale, fly your arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank. Optional push-up. Inhale for your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, step forward. Warrior 2. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, straighten both legs, hands to the waist. Turn your left toes in. So now the pinky toe edges of both feet are parallel to the short sides of the mat. Now we're coming into warrior 2 on your right foot. So turn your right foot out so that the pinky toe edge of your right foot is parallel to the long side of the mat, and bend into your front knee, but still doing a lot of work with that right thigh and right glutes. Stand up, inhale. Exhale, bend. Equal work in both legs the whole time, and notice the difference between using your muscles to straighten the leg versus just locking the joints. Now bend in warrior 2. Inhale, lean forward, out to your right hand. Right forearm on the right thigh, sweep your left arm up and over. Feel free to start to move through your arm in all the different directions that you can go. Deep breaths. Feel how strong and beautiful you are. Take another full breath. As you exhale, wrap your left arm around behind your back if you want to. And you can look forward or you can look up. Lean back, press the back of the head behind you, open up through the chest. Push into your right heel, scoop your right hip point forward so that you can roll your heart open more. One more breath. Rise up. Preparing for Trikonasana, straighten both of your legs. You might have to shorten your stance an inch or so. Inhale, lean out to the right. And then exhale, right hand to your right leg, left arm straight up. Deep breaths here. Feel free to roll your left wrist for a moment. And then settle in. On your next inhale, bend your front knee, warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Lean back. Stand up, hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in. Now the pinky toe edges of your feet are parallel to the short sides of the mat. Coming into Prasarita Padottanasana, you're welcome to reach back and catch Yoga Mudra for a shoulder stretch, or you're welcome to come all the way down. And you might come into tripod headstand if that's in your practice, okay? So first, either choose your shoulder stretch or take the hands to the waist, leaning forward and start to fold. Bring the hands down if you want to. And you can walk the hands back and through. Excuse me. Or you could come into tripod. Spend some time with your legs straight, with your hips lifted and some weight in your toes. Notice if you're rolling into the arches of the feet or if your feet are rolling out to the pinky toe edges. Can you engage the entire leg and maybe lift all of the toes to feel root lock in your feet, Pada Bandha, foot lock. And then isometrically hug the legs closer to each other for you to walk your hands forward. If you're in your tripod headstand, very slowly start to bring your feet down to the floor and we'll meet with our hands on the ground or blocks. Turn your heels in and your toes out and then let's bend one knee and then the other. Bend and then the other. Make sure that when you bend one knee, your knee tracks out over the second and third toe. Okay. Now, we're coming into a seat. So come down, down, and then sit back and take your feet to a V. I'm coming into Upavishta Konasana. You're welcome to use props underneath you if you want. So the main thing here for Upavishta Konasana is that you can keep your toes facing upward, okay? The feet are always in the same direction that the knees are facing and vice versa. So you might notice that your feet want to drop in or out, but let's keep the thigh bone coming out of the hip socket in its natural form, okay? When you're ready, you can come forward, breathing deeply. Okay, slowly walk yourself up. Take your time. Now, let's bring the bottoms of the feet together and the knees apart. When you're ready, for Baddha Konasana, feel free to have a prop underneath you. Feel free to put blocks underneath the knees if your knees are lifted. And we're just going to come forward and down. So feel free, if you'd like, to give yourself a foot massage on your way down. After your next exhale, go ahead and slowly walk yourself up. Now we're going to start to get into some deep hip opening. Pull the knees in so that we might be able to try lotus pose. Okay, first we'll come into a seat and then we'll come down onto our back, but we're going to sit up again in a moment. Okay, so go ahead and come down onto your back. And you can keep your left foot on the floor for stability. You can take the right knee towards your right shoulder. Or if you can, reach to the outside edge of the foot. Stretch the leg up and then bend it out in a half happy baby. If you want to straighten that left leg down, you're welcome to do that. So just up and back down. Notice how I'm letting my leg go. You could do that. Or some of you might be able to grab the big toe for Padangusthasana grip as you pull the knee down and then stretch the leg up. Now we're going to come into reclining pigeon here. So with the knee bent, if you can, start to pull the foot towards your body, but keep the foot flexed, okay? If you notice that your foot is sickling in and the toes are pointing, pull the toes back so that the ankle is strong. Feel free to rock the leg a little side to side. And if you want more support, you can always bring the left thigh up to catch the right ankle, and you can hold the left leg instead. Now, release your legs, take your feet in the air, roll through your ankles. Let's take the back of the legs and rock up to your seat. Okay, now we're going to come into a reverse fold. So if you feel this in your knee, please do not do it. So option one, modified, is Janu Shirsasana with the right knee pointing outward and to the right. If you can, we're going to come into reverse fold, which means that we'll bring the knee in and we'll flip the right foot back. Now, my right hip is not completely down on the floor, and it's actually a little bit too much for me, so I'm going to sit on a blanket so that both sitting bones are on the blanket, but I have some space so that my right foot can go beside my right hip. Okay, either way, whether your right knee is facing outward or whether it's facing forward, let's start to breathe deeply coming forward into your fold. Slowly walk your way up. Lean to the left a little bit so that you can send the legs out forward. Shake your knees a bit. If you have your blanket underneath you, take it out. Let's roll down onto our back again. Feel free to reach way back through the hands and way out through the feet. And then let's hug the left knee out into the left. Option one, you can stabilize your pelvis by putting your right foot on the floor. Hold the outside edge of your left foot and pull the thigh toward the floor, and then stretch it up on your inhale, let it go, and exhale and pull it in. Feel free to let the right leg come down. up on your inhale, out to the side on your exhale. Now, if you like, of course, you can grab your big toe with peace fingers and reach your leg out and back, if that is available. But my grandmother used to say, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you have to, honey. So is it actually working for you? Does your breath tell you that it's enhancing your practice today? Then bend your knee. Bring the leg in toward the center. So start to bring the foot into the midline of the body and keep the foot flexed. You can hold the foot here, or if you find that you want more support, you can bring the right thigh up and hold the right leg instead for figure 4. Okay, when you're ready, send the legs up in the air and send the arms up in the air. Roll the ankles, roll the wrists. Maybe shake everything a little bit. And then let's rock up to a seat. Hold the back of your legs, lift your chest. For Navasana, boat pose, lift up through the center line. Feel free to release the arms. And if you want, you can come down and up with me. Inhale, Ardha Navasana, legs stretch out, balance on the low back. Exhale, pull up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, take the feet to the mat, drop the knees in and out. Now we'll do that either Janushirasana or reverse fold on the other side. So the right leg extends out. You can send the left knee out and externally fold it outward. So the Janushirasana, the knee is coming out to the side. Or if you want, if you can, if it enhances your practice, you could reverse fold your left leg. And if that is available, great. I find that I have to sit on a blanket on one side, but not the other. Send the glutes back, start to walk forward. Okay, slowly rise up. Lean to your right to send your legs out. Now our peak pose, which means that we've been working to this the whole time, is Padmasana or lotus. So this is one of Paul's requests. So for me, I actually have not practiced lotus in a really long time. And often it seems actually out of my reach. So if you have props, go ahead and grab something to sit up on. Option 1 is to just bring your right leg in front, coming into Sukhasana. This is absolutely enough. This is fine. Okay, if you want to try working into Padmasana, option 2 is to take your left, I'm mirroring you now. You can take your left foot and you can snuggle it just in the crook of your right knee. Okay? Option 3 is Padmasana, full lotus. So for this, we'll start with Agni Stambhasana first. Okay? For Agni Stambhasana, you can bring your right foot forward slightly, and then take your left foot and put it on top of your right thigh. Okay, so this is option 3. And you can stay upright here, or you can start to walk forward. And this bolster is too high for me, so I'm going to push it out of the way. Okay, let's slowly walk up. Okay, now to try half or full lotus on this side, we're going to progress even more deeply. So if you want to try this, again, it's your responsibility to make sure you don't hurt yourself. So know that lotus is not for everybody. If you feel this in your knee or your ankle joints, or you're having to like really contort your ankle to get it, it is not for you. Let it go, okay? The worst thing that we could do would be to like injure ourselves so that we can't work, or, you know, just to enjoy our lives for what, you know, any reason. You don't want to hurt yourself. It's not worth it. There's no glory in asanas except for your connection to God. Okay, then you can take your left heel in, okay, in toward your belly. Now try that and see how it goes, okay? This is Ardha Padmasana. The half lotus is taking the heel in toward the belly. Now, to work on full Padmasana, you could take your right foot forward and see what happens when your left knee drops a little bit. Then, if it feels okay for you and you're not feeling it in your knee, which I am just a little bit, then you could take your right foot up and cross it over. And I like to lift my legs up to get in there. Okay, then that's lotus. That does not feel good for my left knee, so I'm going to stretch it out. It made a little noise. It said no. So you enjoy. I'm going to stay right here. We'll take 5 breaths here. And when you're ready, you can start to slowly walk your way up. We'll do that whole thing on the other side. So first, bringing your right leg in. No, bring your left leg in first, okay? Then you could cross your, we already did that. Okay, your left leg will go in front or on top. Okay, so your right foot is coming in toward your groin and your left ankle is crossing in front in Sukhasana. Okay, option 2 would be to cradle that right foot in the crook of your left knee. Option 3 would be Agni-Stambhasana, so you can start to lift your right foot up onto the outside of your right thigh. And then we can come forward if we like. We'll take a few deep breaths. Okay, slowly come up. Okay, then, if you want to try this next thing, you can gently hug your right heel in towards your belly. I like to lift up just a little bit. Then, if you want to try it, you could take your left heel over inside and feel free to support yourself with blocks or with a pillow. So my hips are fine on this side, but I still do not want to push it. So you want to make sure that your ankles are flush, okay? Your toes are in dorsiflexion, they're drawing back toward your body. We approach this posture with absolute respect and reverence. And we'll stay here for about 5 breaths. If there is any indication that your joints don't like this, please don't do it. Knee injuries are super common in yoga, as well as hip injuries and rotator cuff injuries. So all of the most mobile joints. more full breaths. Okay, slowly come up. Slowly come out of it. Okay, finding your way into a comfortable seat because we are going to close our practice now. Let's just roll our neck for a moment. Now we're coming into Savasana, which is our relaxation. And I'll be offering a chant practice with the mantra Aham Prema, Aham Prema, Aham Prema. I am love, divine love. So I invite you to sing with me if you want to. But first we'll come into a nice quiet relaxation, Shavasana. So if there's anything else that you require to feel complete, go ahead and do it. Could be legs up the wall, could be shoulder stand, could be a back bend, could be coming into full Supta Virasana for your last big giant quad stretch. I'll let you do whatever works for you, because it is up to you. This is your practice. So let's spend some time in rest at ease. Feel free to stay resting if you'd like, either for a little bit longer or for the entire rest of our time together. We'll transition now into a mantra meditation with chanting. So feel free to take your time, deepening your breath, maybe rolling to one side and then eventually into a seat. If you are choosing to participate in the meditation seated, make sure that your hips are lifted higher than your knees. So in the beginning, according to yogic philosophy, there was the great void called Shunya Kasha. And that great void, Shunya Kasha, that word can also literally mean no sky. So in that void, when we think of emptiness, we don't exactly mean that there's nothing. It means that there is infinite potential. No sky, there's no limit. How often have you heard that phrase, the sky's the limit? So Shunya Kasha, there is no limit to the potential that is and that could be. And it was said that the vibration of Om enlivened consciousness to reveal herself through the gunas, the energies, the characteristics or qualities of nature, sattvic, kinetic energy, tamasic, structure and stagnancy and stillness, and sattva, harmony or balance or light. And Om created all of the planets and all of the elements that make the planets and the elements that make life. So the whole entire universe was created from that sound vibration of Om, which leads us back to the place where we are just simply divine love, prema, parama prema. So when we use the mantra, I am love, we're reminding ourselves that we are quite literally infinite potential and that we are everything and nothing and the totality of infinity itself. And that love that we are will never change. So to find ourselves in solitude, to use these mantras, we can tune back into that which we already were, and we can remember the heart of our real truth. So aham prema, I am love. I'm that love that we all are together, that we reflect to one another. Do call and response. I'll go through it once and then sing it with me. Aham prema, aham prema, aham prema, I am love. Please sing. Aham prema, aham prema, aham prema, We bow to that highest and deepest love taking form through us in our lives, in our relationships. May we see it in nature, may we see it in one another, may we remember who we really are. Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namaha. Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namaha. Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namaha. Take a deep breath in. About to the love that we all are, no matter what. The love that becomes a deeper connection with ourselves over time, in our lives, through our practices, through our relationships, through getting our heart broken, through realizing that we can't control everything, to the point where we finally give up and we finally surrender and we realize that we never had to do any of those things in the first place. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. Feel free to send me a little note in the chat. Thank you very much. Laurel, it was so nice to have you here. Paul, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all. If you enjoyed it, please come next week and tell all of your friends about my YouTube channel. It's just, as you know, Noelle Whittington YouTube. And I'm going to put the name of the book in. Hi, Christine. Thank you so much. I'm glad you were here. I'm going to put this in the what do you call it? Video notes, and I'll just write it here. Okay. The Yoga of Spiritual Devotion. Thank you, Laurel. You guys have any questions? Here we go. Now, just to be clear, Prem Prakash did not write the Bhakti Yoga Sutras. but this is a translation of the Bhakti Sutras, Narada's Bhakti Sutras by Prem Prakash, and it looks like this. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Thursday, happy weekend, wherever you are. Hope that you find some love within. And as we can remember from our text, the love is always there for us. And we can go within any time, no matter what is going on around us. And often when we really feel like we can't figure anything out and we just have to give up and nothing makes sense, that's when we are humble enough and open enough to receive the teachings. So I wish you well, many blessings. Bye. Have a great day.